You got your Bible? We're going to be reading from Jeremiah chapter 51, 52, and Lamentations chapter 1. Jeremiah chapter 51 is the utter destruction of Jerusalem, of Babylon. Jeremiah chapter 52 is the fall of Jerusalem reviewed. Lamentations chapter 1 is Jerusalem in affliction. I'm going to be reading from the King James Version. Come join me, starting at Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will raise up against Babylon, and against them that dwell in the midst of them that raise up against me, a destroying wind. I will send upon Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about, against him that bendeth. Let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his beggar line. And spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her hosts. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God, of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He shall render upon her a recompense. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm in her pain, for so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one unto his own country, for her judgment reacheth upon heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. For his device is against Babylon, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes, for the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, in the measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will find thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his power, and hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heaven by his understanding. He hath uttered his voice there in a multitude of waters, in the heavens, and he caused the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms, and with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman, and with thee will I break in pieces old and young, and with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flocks, and with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and the yoke of oxen, and with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers, and I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of the Shaddai all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroyeth all the earth, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee, and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain, and they shall not take of thee a stone for a corner, nor a stone for foundations. But thou shalt be desolate forever, saith the Lord. Set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together the kingdoms of Aratat, Midian, Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her. Cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble in sorrow. For every purpose of the Lord shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their hosts. Their mights have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end, and at the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are frightened. For thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, the daughter of Babylon is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her, yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come. Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, hath devoured me. He have crushed me. He have made me an empty vessel. He has swallowed me up like a dragon. He hath filled his belly with my delicacy. He has cast me out. The violence done to me in my flesh be upon Babylon, shall the inhabitant of Zion say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Judea. Say, shall Jerusalem say, therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will plead thy cause, and will take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her sea, and make her springs dry. And Babylon shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment, and a hissing without inhabitants. They shall roar together like lions. They shall yell as lions' whelps. And their heat, and I will make their feast, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, saith the Lord. I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with he goats. How is Shechem taken? And how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How has Babylon become as astonishment among the nations? The sea is come upon Babylon. She is covered with the multitude of waves thereof. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither doeth any son of man pass thereby. And I will punish Bel in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he has swallowed up, and the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Ye, the wall of Babylon shall fall. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord, unless your heart faint, and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoiler shall come unto her from the north, saith the Lord. As Babylon have caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. Ye that have escaped the sword, go away. Stand not still. Remember the Lord afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are confounded because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces. For strangers come unto the sanctuaries of the Lord's house. Wherefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, and through all her land the wounded shall groan. Though Babylon shall mount up to heaven, and though she shall fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoilers come unto her, saith the Lord. A sound of a cry cometh from Babylon, and great destruction from the land of the Chaldeans. because the Lord has spoiled Babylon and destroyed her and destroyed out of her the great voice. When her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their voice is uttered, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon Babylon, and her mighty men are taken. Every one of their bows is broken, for the Lord God of recompenses shall surely require. And I will make drunk her princes and her wise men, her captains and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep and not wake, saith the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be weary. The word of Jeremiah the prophet concerning Shemaiah, the son of Neri, the son of Messiah, when he went with Zedekiah, the king of Judah, unto Babylon in the fourth year of his reign. In this Shereah was a quiet prince. Was a quiet prince. And Jeremiah wrote in the book all the evil that shall come upon Babylon, even all the words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Shereah, when thou comest to Babylon, and shall see, and shall read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place, to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever, forever. And it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it, and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. And it shall say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. I'm reading the last chapter of Jeremiah. It's Jeremiah chapter 52. Zacchaeus, one of the 20 years, was 1 and 20 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Mahath, the daughter of Jeremiah of Lemni. And he did that which was evil in the eyes of the Lord, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. For through the anger of the Lord it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, till he had cast them out from his presence. And Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and built forts against it round about. So the city was besieged upon the 11th year of King Zedekiah. In the 4th month, in the 9th day of the month, the famine was sore in the city, and so there was no bread for the people of the land. Then the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled, and went forth out of the city by night, by the way of the gate, between the two walls, which was by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were by the city round about, and they went by the way of the plain. But the army of the Chaldeans pursued after the king, and overtook Zacchaeus in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. Then they took the king and carried him up into the king of Babylon and Riblah, the land of Hamath, where he gave judgment upon him. And the king of Babylon slew the sons of Kia before his eyes. He slew also all the princes of Judah and Rabbah. Then he put out the eyes of Zacchaeus, and the king of Babylon bound him in chains, and carried him to Babylon, and put him in prison till the day of his death. Now the 5th month, in the 10th day of the month, which was the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, came Nebuchadnezzar, captain of the guard, which served the king of Babylon, into Jerusalem, and burned the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem, and all the houses of the great men, burned he with fire. And all the army of the Chaldeans that were with the captain of the guard break down all the walls of Jerusalem round about. Then Nebuchadnezzar The captain of the guard carried away captive certain of the poor of the people, and the residue of the people that remained in the city, and those that fell away and fell at the king of Babylon and the rest of the multitude. But Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, left certain of the poor of the land for vine dressers and for husbandmen. Also the pillars of brass that were in the house of the Lord, and the bases and the brazen sea that was in the house of the Lord. The Chaldeans brake and carried all the brass of them to Babylon, and Chaldeans also, and the shovels, and the snuffers, and the bowls, and the spoons, and the vessels of brass wherewith they ministered, took they away. And the basins, and the fire pans, and the bowls, and the chaudrons, and the candlesticks, and the spoons, and the cups, that which was of gold in gold, and that which was of silver in silver, took the captain of the guard away. The two pillars, one sea, and 12 brazen bulls that were under the basins, which King Solomon had made in the house of the Lord. The brass of all the vessels was without weight. And concerning the pillars, the height of one pillar was 18 cubits, and the fillet of 12 cubits did compass it. And the thickness thereof was 4 fingers. It was hollow, and the chaper of brass was upon it. And the height of one chaper was 5 cubits, with network of pomegranates upon the chapers, round about all of brass. The second pillar also of the pomegranates were like unto these, and they were 96 pomegranates on a side, and all the pomegranates upon the network were 100 round about. And the captain of the guard took Shirai, the chief priest, and Zephaniah, the second priest, and the 3 keepers of the door. He took also out of the city an Enoch, a eunuch, which had the charge of the man of war, and 7 men of them that were near the king's person, which were found in the city, and the principal scribe of the hosts, who mustered the people of the land, and 60 men of the people of the land that were found in the midst of the city. So Nebuchadnezzar, the captain of the guard, took them and brought them to the king of Babylon and Riblah. And the king of Babylon smote them and put them to death in Riblah in the land of Hamath. Thus Judah was carried away captive out on his own land. This is the people whom Nebuchadnezzar carried away captive in the 7th year, 3,000 Jews, and 3 and 20. In the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar, he carried away captive from Jerusalem 832 persons. In the 3 and 20th year of Nebuchadnezzar, the captain of the guard, carried away captive of the Jews 745 persons. All the persons were 4,600. And it came to pass in the 7 and 30th year of the captivity of Jehoiachin, king of Judah, in the 12th month, in the 5 and 20th day of the month, that evil Merodach, king of Babylon, in the first year of his reign, lifted up the head of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, and brought him forth out of prison, and spake kindly unto him, and set his throne above the throne of the kings that were with him in Babylon, and changed his prison garments, and he did continually eat bread before him all the days of his life. And for his diet, there was a continual diet given him of the kings of Babylon, every day a portion until the day of his death, all the days of his life. Now I'm reading Lamentations chapter 1, verse 1. How do the city sit solitary, that was full of people? How is she become a widow? She was that was great among the nations, and princess among the provinces. How is she become tributary? She weepeth sore in the night, and her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she hath none to comfort her. All her friends have dwelt treacherously with her, and they are become her enemies. Judah is gone into captivity because of affliction and because of great servitude. She dwelleth among the heathen. She findeth no rest. All her persecutors overlook her between the straits. The ways of Zidon do more, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh. Her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness. Her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper, for the Lord have afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity for the enemy, and from the daughter of Zion all her beauty is departed. Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before her the pursuer. Jerusalem remembered in the days of her affliction and of her miseries all her pleasant things that she had in the days of old, when her people fell into the hand of the enemies, and none did help her. The adversaries saw her and did mock at her Sabbaths. Jerusalem had grievously sinned, therefore she is removed. All that honored her despised her, because they have seen her nakedness. She sighed and turned backward. Her filthiness is in her skirts. She remembered not her last end. Therefore she came down wonderfully. She had no comforter, O Lord. Behold my affliction, for the enemy hath magnified himself. The adversary hath spread out his hands upon all her pleasant things. For she hath seen that the heathen enter into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy sanctuary. All her people sigh. They seek bread. They have given their pleasant things for meat to relieve the soul. See, O Lord, and consider, for I am become vile. Is it nothing to you, all ye that pass by? Behold, and see if there be any sorrow like unto my sorrow, which is done unto me, wherewith the Lord hath afflicted me in the day of his fierce anger. From above hath he sent fire into my bones, and it prevaileth against them. He hath spread a net for my feet. He hath turned me back. He hath made me desolate and faint all the day. The yoke of my transgression is bound by his hands. They are wretched and come up upon my neck. He hath made my strength to fail. The Lord hath delivered me into their hands, from whom I am not able to rise up. The Lord hath trodden under foot all my mighty men in the midst of me. He hath called an assembly against me to crush my young man. The Lord hath trodden the virgin, the daughters of Judah, as in a winepress. For these things I weep. My eye runneth down with water, because the comforter that should relieve my soul is far from me. My children are desolate, because the enemy prevailed. Zion spreadeth forth her hands, and there is none to comfort her. The Lord hath commanded concerning Jacob, that his adversaries should be round about him. Jerusalem is a menstruous woman among them. The Lord is righteous, for I have rebelled against his commandment. Hear, I pray you, all people, and behold my sorrow. My virgins and my young men are gone into captivity. I called for my lovers, but they deceived me. My priests and my elders gave up the ghost in the city, while they sought their meat to relieve their souls. Behold, O Lord, for I am in distress. My bowels are troubled. My heart is turned within me, and I have grievously rebelled. Abroad the sword breathes. At home there is as death. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. Let all their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me for all my transgressions. For my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. I have read Jeremiah chapter 51, 52, and Lamentations chapter 1. Jeremiah chapter 51 is the utter destruction of Babylon. Jeremiah chapter 52 is the fall of Jerusalem review. Lamentations chapter 1 is Jerusalem in affliction. I plan to, by the grace of God, to come back daily to read 3 to 4 scriptures. Please keep me in prayer. You can follow me on social media platforms. On Facebook, it is MIN Shafan. On TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, it is Minister Shafan. Minister Shafan's out.